What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. The US, the military, and the Biden administration is preparing for nukes, nuclear warfare with multiple different nations. I'm going to give you the details here in this video, including Russia, China, Iran, and more. I'll give you all the details here in this video, and I'll let you see it here on the screen as well. We are moving into some potentially grave danger. And well, I'll show it to you here right now. Let's jump right in here. We are live right here now on YouTube. So if you can see and hear me, let me know here in the comments or in the chat. Type yes if you can see and hear me. Also, let me know where you're tuning into, where you're tuning in from. If you want to, let me know your city, state, or even country in the chat or the comment section, as we have people tuning in here all around the world. So yeah, things are getting real here, and thank you so much for liking these videos. It helps YouTube spread these videos to more people so the information goes out. If you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notifications when we go live, which is normally at 8 p.m. Okay, check this out. Okay, we'll be covering a couple different things here in this video. Russia, China, Iran. Check this out. Belarusian president claims Ukraine is pushing Russia to strike with nuclear weapons as Belarus moves 1/3 of its fighting force to the Ukraine border. As Belarus might be joining the fray here more than previously thought here, as the Ukraine invasion of Russia continues to go on here. And a lot of people are starting to think here that Vladimir Putin may have to use nuclear weapons or tactical nuclear weapons potentially on his own land and to thwart the enemy here, as Ukraine has blown up the bridges to get to back into Ukraine there. I'll get to that here in a second here. As Biden is concerned, he revamps the U.S. nuclear deterrent postures in face of China, Russia, and North Korea aggression. China on track to more than triple its nuclear stockpile here by 2035. Remember, China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran as well all kind of have an alliance and are all kind of against the United States. China is really the only one that are kind of frenemies with the United States. We're trading partners with them. So we're a little bit friendly there, but that's about it. That's about it. President Biden says here that he has approved a secret change to the highly classified U.S. posture in the wake of growing aggressions from nations like the BRICS nations, Russia and China. But the White House on Tuesday said this step was just business as usual, which a lot of people are not saying so. When you make a change to nuclear policy. In response to a report by the New York Times that suggested Washington's nuclear posture has been altered to address Beijing's expanding nuclear arsenal, a White House spokesperson told reporters the guidance issued earlier this year is not a response to any single entity, country, nor threat, even though we're seeing that from multiple different countries. Quote, this administration, like the four administrations before, issued a nuclear posture review and a nuclear weapons employment planning guidance, White House spokesman Sean Savitz said. While the specific text of the guidance is classified, its existence is in no way secret, but yet it's classified. Questions have mounted regarding any potential changes to the U.S. nuclear strategy of deterrence after the New York Times actually found this out and reported on Tuesday that Biden shifted Washington's strategy for the first time to focus on China. Then, in addition to this, we have Iran, who is quickly working on more materials for a nuclear bomb. Take a listen to this.
Senior State Department officials, meantime, say they have grave concerns over Iran's efforts to advance its nuclear weapons program. The country is now expanding a top nuclear site and doing it quickly. State Department correspondent Jillian Turner has details tonight.
The UN's top nuclear watchdog has confirmed one of Iran's most secretive nuclear sites is undergoing a dramatic expansion, alarming top U.S. officials.
Iran continues to expand its nuclear program in ways that have no credible, peaceful purpose. We remain deeply concerned with Iran's nuclear activities and will continue to vigilantly monitor them. Iran must cooperate with the IAEA without further delay.
A leaked draft document first obtained by Reuters reveals Iran's plan to triple the site's production of enriched uranium with brand new centrifuges. Secretary Blinken met with senior Israeli officials today, just days after Prime Minister Netanyahu accused the U.S. of slow-walking arms to Israel, a claim the U.S. denies. Meanwhile, U.S. and Israeli intelligence agencies have new alarming information about a computer modeling program Iran has reportedly acquired. U.S. officials say it could be used to help the regime build a nuclear weapons arsenal and build it faster.
We do not see indications that Iran is currently undertaking the key activities that would be necessary to produce a testable nuclear device.
Florida Republican Congressman Mike Waltz says this new computer program could be the key that unlocks Iran's speed.
When people talk about a breakout and weeks or months for them to be able to break out, that's basically having enough fully enriched uranium to have a bomb. This other element, this computer simulation, is how do you get the actual bomb formed and build the warhead that it fits on top of a missile?
So once the Iranians have enough enriched uranium to actually build a bomb, the Biden administration estimates the breakout time to be about 18 months. Israel estimates it's as little as 1 year.
Meanwhile, a lot of people think that Vladimir Putin may have to, maybe forced to, or maybe willing to now use nuclear weapons or smaller tactical nuclear weapons now that Ukraine has invaded Russia. And this one is pretty serious. And a lot of people are saying that Vladimir Putin has a lot of egg on his face after this invasion from Ukraine, especially how many days and how long this has gone on. And, well, this is still going on. And, well, Russia has clearly been unable to defend its own border. This has clearly been a misstep, a miscalculation by Vladimir Putin. They have left their own border undefended. And Ukraine has exploited this. And now going forward, what does Vladimir Putin do? Does he, let's just push the nuke question aside. Does he leave his border undefended or underdefended like he has for the last 2 years during this war going forward? Or does he leave his border with thousands and thousands of men for this long, long Russian border that he has? Does he defend the whole border and send many, many, many thousands of troops, which he really doesn't have? Russia puts this, Russian propaganda out there that they have way more troops than Ukraine, which they don't. Take a look at this. Look at this article that just came out here. Russians baffled after Putin's space troops were deployed as infantry in Kursk. Russia's so depleted on men that they had to deploy what they're calling their space troops to try to go and fight in Kursk. Take a look at this here. Russians have been left baffled after President Vladimir Putin deployed his so-called space troops to defend the Kursk region due to a manpower shortage amid the Ukrainian incursion. The deployment of a temporary motorized rifle of Russian aerospace forces to the Kursk region was first reported by the independent investigative Russian outlet of important stories. They literally and Ukraine, this small amount of men are still there. The unit created between May and June consists of personnel from security and logistics companies, engineer, mechanics, and some officers and servicemen from a Russian spaceport. This is what they're trying to use to try to fight off these Ukrainian invasion. This is utterly kind of embarrassing. And and now Ukraine has destroyed or damaged all three bridges over Russia's Siam River, and even Russian sources are admitting this. This river is very important because there's this large river that's apparently too large to cross. It's anywhere from 30 to 50 meters on the short end wide to 100 meters. And let me see here if I can get a picture. I don't have a picture here, but this river is too wide to cross by foot. Okay, and there's three bridges, and for Russia to be able to bring men back from Ukraine, because apparently Russia had sent the vast majority of their men, their fighting men, over to Ukraine to invade another country and take over this other country, and left nothing there to defend their own country, despite what they might tell you. Despite if you hear Russian propaganda, this is the reality of what's happening, because if it wasn't the case, they would have already thwarted this invasion. Okay, there's a lot of Russian propaganda channels out there, and there's a lot of Russian fake news out there that might want you to think otherwise. But if that weren't the case, they would have already thwarted this invasion, right? Just come on, use your common sense here, okay? So they got to bring troops back from Ukraine that they were trying to invade. So now Putin is kind of getting a taste of his own medicine, and these Russian people are like, "Oh my God, what is happening? We're living in fear. We can't sleep at night," and Ukraine's saying, "We've been having to do this for 2.5 years. You guys have been invading us for 2.5 years," and Ukraine's like, "Do you even know what your president has been putting us through for 2.5 years? Trying to take us over, and what you've been doing to our schools and our hospitals and our churches." And Putin just literally doesn't care. He doesn't even care about his own men. I mean, the amount of his own men that he's lost, and all the things he's done to civilian buildings and apartment buildings. I mean, Putin doesn't care. You think Putin cares? He literally doesn't care. So now he's got to send, units back from Ukraine, and there's these three bridges, and Ukraine has destroyed them all, which is in my opinion is a little bit dicey, because now Ukraine has these men, these kind of, I think it's like two platoons, or they're calling it. They're kind of trapped over there. I don't know how they're going to be able to get back, because there's these three main bridges there that they've destroyed. It would have been different if they had maybe left one there that they maybe could have controlled, but how do they get back? I guess we will see here in the future. Maybe they're just laying it all on the line. But now Russia can't really bring their men over unless they do them in like small incursions with like uh, platoon boats or something like that, right? Um, so Ukraine has really kind of stopped them from coming back over unless they come over in slow moving boats or something like that, which makes easy targets for them. So Vladimir Putin is literally deploying anybody he can that's left over there on that side of Russia, which apparently is space troops and engineers, and this shows you like what Russia has left. So he wants you to think that they have mass amounts of men, but the reality of it is it doesn't seem like it, because if Russia had mass amounts of men, would this war be going 2.5 years? Would they have just been able to end it? I mean, let me know your thoughts in the comments, right? Because if they had so many more men than Ukraine, would the war have been over? I mean, just use your brain, right? I mean, that's one thing. If you've been watching me for a while, I'm a realist, right? I try not to get caught up in the propaganda of either side. The war would have been over. Putin wanted this war to be over in days, weeks, right? Surely not 2.5 years. So the question here is, will he resort to using nukes or tactical nukes to start wiping out things? And the other thing here is China, Iran, North Korea are watching this, and then China's been watching this for a while to see what will the world let them get away with, which is really scary because if Vladimir Putin starts doing that, God help us all. God help us all because it's a sad thing that these things were even created, right? It's a sad thing how many lives have already been lost on both sides, and that Vladimir Putin is willing to just invade other countries and lose so many lives on from his own country and the country he's invading. And you look at what's happened with Hamas, and you know it's a really sad time, and really you got to kind of wonder: are we in World War III? How does this end with these two major wars that are already going on? Other countries like China watching, Iran watching, they're trying to produce their own nukes, and North Korea watching, and the world is watching as well to see these other countries are watching to see what can they get away with and what will the world let them do, because the world's watching to see what will Vladimir Putin be allowed to get away with by the time all this is said and done with. And China's watching to see, will they be allowed to, at the end, be able to invade Taiwan and take over Taiwan? Will they be allowed to do the same thing? Will other countries be allowed to do the same thing? So those are good questions that we have to ponder here. And, these are things that are going to be worth looking forward to in the future, because some countries are saying, well, maybe we can just go in and invade other countries and it might be worth it in the future. So this is where the world has to step in and say, well, we can't just let other countries go and just take over their neighbors just because they want to. And this is why it's such a scary time right now. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here on a daily basis. So if you haven't yet, subscribe down below, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on new videos. Don't forget to like this video, share this video with anybody that needs to hear this information. I will keep you up to date here on a daily basis. Click here to see the video about 2 deadly viruses that are spreading rapidly right now, or click here to watch my newest video besides that. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in